All right, so this is round two. You only hear round one because Izzy is like grandpa with this one.
Let's go. I'm ready.
So before your internet decided to die off and you were just like, I'm gonna leave because you can't, I couldn't hear you. What were you saying about
Right.
about Afghanistan?
No, so what I was saying that the world is pretty shitty right now with everything that's going on with the stuff in Afghanistan and everything else. But what I was saying was is that I wanted to continue to do something that was purposeful because in the service working command post that's what we did, you know. Every mission we sent off, running those checklists for incidents and everything else, it was rewarding just to see the results from the actions and the decisions that you made. So I felt like that's something that I always wanted to carry on with me after I transition out to try to get into
Mm,
a field that was still going to be doing the same things and be able to come home and know that, you know, my job was doing something in that aspect. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to just come home and be like, yo, my boss is an idiot or my workers suck or work sucked today. I wanted to come home and be like, as we were doing in the military, like, yo, we send humanitarian aid to this country. We help these people from this accident, or, you know, we launched these many planes to go help out, whatever the case may be. You know, so I always wanted to still continue to do something in that. And I think that's why I always looked at FEMA, because FEMA was always that big big brother in emergency management. You know,
mm.
you still got your little city and state emergency management hub and stuff like that, but I always felt like I wanted to be in the headquarters building basically of emergency management. So that's why I was always looking towards FEMA, but again, it's just I never motivated myself to go that path or that route.
Yeah, and like I said, as you're thinking about like doing something with yourself, you know, and I know you want to see like this big impact, but I think it's a small little ripple, man. I think if you start small, like I said, if you, because like just the how you were talking about when you're talking about, man, I was helping these kids and this and that. That's something small, but like it's like the way I look at it is like you never fucking know, like the book Outliers, like you have no idea the impact you're gonna have on the next generation. Like you could help a guy who figures it out mathematically and changes things, right? Like,
Right.
you know, I think sometimes we wanted to make sure that we're the person who changes the world, but it's like if we change five people and those five people change 10 people, like maybe they fucking, you know, that person is the father of Gandhi or some crazy shit. And you don't get Gandhi without that person having that. You know what I mean? Like that's how I kind of look at these things.
No, and I agree
Um,
because even when I was helping those students, man, it was nice to get their emails or even their gratitudes face to face. You know, a
yeah,
lot of them were like, I don't know what I would have done without your help in this class. You know what I'm saying? Like a
right.
lot of them depended on passing or failing that class in order to keep going, furthering their education. So it felt good to be able to say, and I think I mentioned as well that I still have my supervisor's phone number from doing that program. And I
Mm,
actually contemplate on maybe reaching out to them to see if they still needed a mathematics tutor to help. Because I don't know if the program's still running or not. I haven't kept up with it up to date like that.
yeah.
But and I
Uh,
don't even know if that supervisor's still in that college. But I actually contemplate on going back to that, just do it more full time now because you know I'm not really doing anything else.
yeah. I mean, why the fuck not? Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of almost going back to that thing. Like, imagine if your job could just be helping people. Like,
Right.
you don't have to wear a suit and tie to make a difference in the world. You know, I think that for a lot of us military guys, we get used to sitting there saying like, it must be a big machine. You must be a small like cog in the machine. We think it's big operation, but it's like, you know, almost like back in the day when they would tell you in the Air Force, like, hey, how about you go clean up a beach or go clean up a street? You lead four
Right.
friends, you're now a leader. I mean, I think like sometimes it's like we forget it, but it is that like that kiss, right? Keep it simple, stupid, you know, in that sense of like, man, can you just make a difference in one person's life, you know? And it's like we want to make a big difference, but like I think you if you were to do that, and let's say you were to make like maybe 20,000, but for you, you're like, I don't even really like that 20,000 is good. I'm good at that point,
Right.
but the joy of waking up every day saying, man, I can help a kid, like I could
Right.
actually help somebody.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're absolutely correct, man. And it's, you know, like I said, I contemplated on it. I don't know if I'll do it. Maybe I will do it. I don't know for sure. But I'm just fortunate that I'm in a position that I don't really have to go back to work right away. And
Yeah,
I think that's, you know, I try to tell a lot of people too, especially my friends who are transitioning out, retiring, or whatever the case would be. Like, take some you time, you know, take some me time to decompress and just basically fall into place with enjoying your days and your nights, you know, spend that
yeah.
family time and everything else. You know, I like seeing my friends that are now retired or posting pictures of them having a beach day. You know what I'm saying? It's good. It's good to see that they're doing that. And unfortunately, some of them have to go right back into work. I won't say unfortunately, but you know, they just feel like they just don't want to stop working. They want to get back into the field and continue to work.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm just blessed that I'm in a position where I didn't have to rush it, and I still don't. You know, but eventually, I do want to get back in there because I don't want to be turning late 40s, going into 50s, and still no job. Especially if one of my goals was to have a second retirement pension.
Right.
You
Well,
know?
I mean, I think also, man, like we get really fucking confused that we're supposed to have it figured out. Like, it's like we get out of the military, we retire, we hit 30, 35, 40, and we're under this misconception that we're supposed to have life figured out. And I think that's one of the biggest like lies. One of the biggest like lies they told us is that you're supposed to have shit figured out. It's like, man, at 40, life's different at 40 than it was 30. So you got to refigure life out. And then you got like 8-9 years to figure it out before you hit 50. And that's a whole new different realm. So why not for this time right now? Like I said, why couldn't you do it for the next 3 to 4 years of just helping people? And my whole thing is like this, like, and this is how I look at it. Like, I own a property now. I have my own company, like is in it, and I don't mean like a company like I'm this, like an LLC that is for my property. But my mindset changes with that. But I got that in January. I got that property in January. 6 months before that, I had no fucking clue. But I moved from Japan to the States. And because I moved to a certain location, I had a friend that I served with that actually was investing in real estate. Because him and I had a conversation was because I moved here that put me into the mood of sitting there saying like, hey, that gives me the idea to like 4 months later, I actually had a property. So I'm really in the whole thing of like, man, we have no idea where if we just like do something out of what we want to do, we have no idea that opportunity is going to even a conversation, but it's an opportunity really to change our lives and put us in a whole other realm. Like without that conversation, I wouldn't be in real estate now. I wouldn't have been looking at real estate. I mean, my investment, like I'd still be working probably at the VA doing IT stuff when, you know, like I have a degree in IT, but I was sitting there and I was bored. I like doing IT, but I didn't like doing IT the way they wanted me to do IT, which is we'll tell you when something's broken and you got to go over there and plug it back in for a doctor and then you're done. Like that's your level of work.
So is there something more that you want to do besides just real estate? Is real estate your passion or you want to do something, you want to expand on it more?
Man, like, so this is how it is. So, and this is actually something that just happened to me. So I am now, like, again, I'm not selling houses anymore. I'm more doing the admin side. We talked about that. But I'm also doing a lot of the filmmaking, the videography for the houses for people. So I really like doing that. I love editing.
Okay.
I love doing those stuff. It's fun. And because I did a video, right, I'm doing these videos for free. And it's helping everybody I work out with. I actually got where somebody was like, hey, man, I see that thing. I'm kind of a salesman for cars. I would like to do that. Like, can you, like, I like a drone. And so I was talking to him and I was like, hey, man. And again, no fucking clue what I'm doing when it comes to this type of thing. Like, no idea. Like, I'm just like, yes, I would do it. And I'll figure out how to get there.
As you go. Right? Yeah.
And so I submitted it like a package to him. Like, hey, here's a tiered system for me to help you as a social media consultant doing all your social media, like actually like filming it and making a commercial for you. Now, he hasn't said yes to it. I don't know if he's going to, but like I said, 2 months ago, that was never a thought that could happen. Like, I have no clue. So when you're asking me, like, what do I want to do? Like, I'm one of those people, like you were saying, your friend, I want to do all that shit. I want to have fun.
Right.
And my fun in life is going out there and testing myself. Like, you know, doing filmmaking. Can I do cars? Can I do real estate? Actually, I'm about to start doing interning for weddings next month. So
like
I love fucking work. Yeah. Like, and all it was like, yeah. And so there was a lady during real estate. I went to go open a house for her and she was taking photos. And I was like, hey, man, like, how'd you learn how to do this? I'm taking a filmmaking course right now, which I am online filmmaking course.
Nice.
And she was like, hey, here's this person. They do weddings and they don't do real estate, but they do weddings. You might be able to ask them. They might be able to help you and you can intern for them. And I was like, shit. So I called them up and I'm talking to this lady and she's like, yeah, you know, you can do this one. An intern for us is actually just the only way to learn this is to actually just shoot a camera. So you're going to be second camera and you're going. And I was like, cool, man. I was like, I'll do anything. I'll take out trash for you. I don't care. I just want to learn. I want the opportunity.
Right.
So the reason why I'm saying that is like, I think if you just follow your heart, don't worry about the money. Don't worry about any of that stuff. Just saying like, how can I just do stuff that I want to do, help people, be a good fucking person. and this sounds like a little hippie-ish and stuff like that, but I really do feel like the universe, man, just it opens the door. There's somehow, some way, it always works. But it's only if you have the balls to sit there and say, "This is what I want. It's what I want."
Right.
So I'm gonna go for it. You know, so like I got all these things lined up. Like I'm looking at opening, have my own filmmaking production company. I'm not good at all. I don't think so. Real estate, I'm not really good at it. I've done a little, yeah, you know what I mean? Admin, you know what I mean? Like, but what I'm looking at, like, I have a business now for my property. I'm looking at getting more property. I'm actually creating another business so that way we can have closing gifts for like real estate. Right.
Okay. Nice.
And so, yeah, but I love to fucking work. Like I really, really enjoy working. And I that's just me. Like I enjoy working. It's almost like a brag in a sense to sit there and say like, how many hours did you work? Like, you know, about 16. It's about, you know, I work every day. And people are like, are you sure you can keep doing it? I'm like, yeah, man, like watch this. But, also what I'm saying though, is like, I do enjoy doing those things. I enjoy having that, but I enjoy that it's on my terms now. Right. And so, you know, any kind of things I would say to you mainly is just like, what do you want to do? And if you like helping people and money's not a big option for you, now I do want to make a lot of money. Like I'm not even going to lie about that. But I look at making a lot of money is not how can I be rich and famous. It's like, how can I help other people? Like I want to go back to my old neighborhood and I want to actually buy a lot of that area up. And I actually want to help people become business people and teach them money, finances, investing, stocks. Like I want to help people become better. Yeah. But I can't do that if I'm poor. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can't help people out unless you're really making some money because it takes money to actually do these things. So
yeah, you're absolutely right, man. No, but, so I'm just gonna say that it definitely takes money to make money. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you can't be a poor individual and trying to preach on how people should be entrepreneurs and get their own business when you don't have the backing for it. You know what I'm saying? You're not showing no background that you're doing well yourself. So, but I mean, it's glad to hear that though, because I think a lot of people just go to work because they feel like it's needed for them to pay bills. You know, I feel like their thoughts are behind the things that that you need out of life, but at the same token, is not their passion. You know, like they just want to get a job right away and just make some money, get a check. Some people live check by check, you know, versus doing something that they really are passionate about or want to do because they love to do it. You know, that was one thing when the command post, I love the command post. I love going to work. I didn't mind it. I mean, the people are people. Sometimes I had good ones, sometimes I had bad, but that's anywhere, you know? But I love the work that we did. I love the running the checklist. I love dealing with emergencies. I loved all that stuff. So, and that plays a big role because if you're not happy when you're going to work, then the work is going to be shitty all the time, you know?
Yeah. I think that's why I like being so busy. Like I actually like having multiple things, man. I love the pressure because being command and control too for the engineers, man, you got so many things going at you and it's like, dude, I'm alive right now. Like it's fun. Like you cannot mess up. You got to be on your A game. There is no idea of like, I remember I was a training NCO. And so we got a new guy coming in and the first thing we do is just like, you know, sink or swim. That's how we did everything. Let's put you in an exercise and let's see where you have issues. And his issue was anytime he got stressed out or overwhelmed with anything, he would just shut down. So I was like, okay, we're gonna do it in a training environment. We're gonna actually induce stress on you, but we're gonna do it in a safe manner where that. So he'd be on the phone. I would just start talking in his ear, and he would like just break down and be like, I can't do this, and just stop. I was like, whoa, you know what I mean? And so I think a lot of people are like that. Like I think there's some people when multiple things are going on, they just, you know.
They shut down.
They just stop.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, man, that's the fun part. That's like boom, boom, boom. Like you got to cry. I hear something over here. Hey, we got this going on. To me, that's fun. Right. And I think that's why I like being so busy because there's so many things going on that it requires me to be like on it. That's my sense of like adrenaline. I'm not going to jump out of an airplane. Never done it. I don't see that as like a fun thing. I think like, but
you want to skydive? You want to skydive?
Nah, man, it's like one of the ones where it's like, you know, are you ever get bit by a shark? And it's like, no, why? Because I'm not gonna go into the ocean. Like, I'm not gonna go out there. I've gone scuba diving, so it's kind of like sounds kind of like stupid to say it now, but you know, like now, like I'm nowhere near an ocean. You know, I don't have to worry about shark bite. Like, it's like, you know, like those Darwin Awards. It's like those people die for a reason,
right?
I'm trying to make sure that I like my actual biggest goal in life, and this is not a goal. One of the things is a very terrifying moment is to become a meme. Can you imagine becoming a meme? And it's like nothing good. Like,
Yeah.
like there's some memes that you're just like, that is a horrible thing in life.
Right.
Like you're going down for doing something like that is a legit concern of mine where it's like, dude, can you imagine if you become a meme?
That's
And a
funny.
viral meme at that too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. When somebody does
But
something dumb, they're running your meme on it.
yeah, you know what I mean? You're like, fuck, dude. Like if you're an athlete, anytime something happens, they just wait for something to happen and take your expression. And now that's a new
Yeah, that's
That's
a new
terrifying.
GIF.
yeah, like fuck, dude. It's terrifying.
That's crazy.
But shit, so what else is going on with you?
Not much, man. I had a good week this week. I actually went on Monday. My niece got me some wrestling tickets. So we went to go see a live event, which was pretty cool. I'm still a wrestling fan. Been watching it since the Hulk Hogan days. That's probably where that's too over you right there. But yeah, we got to see that here in Florida, which was pretty cool. And then on Thursday and Friday, on Thursday I did Epcot, went to a food and wine tasting, which was pretty good. So they had like all these little stations from different countries that had their food and drinks and stuff like that. So you were able to just tour basically the world just in Epcot. So we got to see Australian food, German food, Japan, China, everything else. I tell you, we started around, I think it was like around 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock. We left around 6. Man, the drinks, I mean, they were delicious though. You know what I'm saying? The food was good, the drinks were good. But where I really fucked up was I went in the tequila factory. And it was like 4 shots of tequila. The tequila was great, smooth. It didn't have that kickback. It wasn't like that Jose Cuervo garbage. Like it was on point. But after that, like me, I went with a buddy and another friend, and we were just like, woo. The good thing it wasn't hot. You know what I'm saying? The sun wasn't like out. It wasn't blazing. It was nice, cloudy, cool breeze. But yeah, we had a good time. And then on Friday, we did I went to my first ever MegaCon. Have you ever been to one of those with the cosplay characters and everything else?
No.
It was pretty cool. So they had people dressed up, which was cool, and they committed. Like these are some real hardcore comic book, anime, movie shows, real dedicated fans. So dedicated that they stay calling you by your character's name. Like if me and you went dressed up, let's say we went like Transformers or whatever. Like, I wasn't going to call you Mike. I was calling you Optimus Prime the whole day. They were so committed. I was like, what is happening right now? But it was in a huge convention center. And I'm telling you, they had celebrities like from DC shows and Marvel shows and stuff like that. But it started from aisle 100 all the way to 900. So my boy's like, yo, you just want to walk up and down the aisles? By the time we reached 800 aisle, 900 aisle, my feet were crying. But it was worth it, man. They had Star Wars, and there was one costume that was really dope. It was this guy dressed up as Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy, and he even had the fucking rocket, the fox, on his shoulder, and he would make it talk inside the suit. But this dude was legit, man. Like it looked really good. But the fact that they stayed in those costumes the whole day. The show opened up at 11. And these dudes are there till like 5, 6 p.m. walking around. Like the Mandalorians were big. And these dudes, the Mandalorian costume, the helmet, the suit, they're wearing the cape. They're carrying around the big guns and everything. And they stay in character all the way through. This one dude was a predator from, the movie The Predator, the alien monster dudes. He was decked out from head to toe. Even had the gun that would make the noise. He had the band and all this stuff. And he was walking around that for the whole hours. I know he's sweating in it. He had to be sweating balls in that suit. But, dude, they are dedicated, man. Those are some dedicated people. And those are true fans. Like, don't get me wrong, I like shows. I like The Walking Dead. I watch these different shows here and there on Netflix and everything else. But these dudes are like, they were nerding out big time. I was just taking it all in because I was like, how big it was, how committed these people are. And it was from I think it was from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They did 3 shows and then they closed down on Sunday night. But these fans went Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like they were there from the morning till they said, "Yo, you guys need to leave." And the cool thing is that, you know, they have like little rules. So they tell you if there's people dressed up, don't just take pictures of them. He was like, you know, still be professional, be respectful, and ask them if they want a picture taken. Because, you know, sometimes they don't. You know what I'm saying? But people who would just walk by, like, you'd be like, hey, man, if you saw somebody in a cool costume, be like, hey, man, can I take a picture of you? And they'd be like, yeah, you know, we'll take a picture, this and this and that. But a lot of them was anime. I don't watch that Japanimation stuff. I'm not hip to that. Like, I don't really know shows besides like Dragon Ball Z or Airbender or whatever. But there was a lot of people dressed up with those characters. I had no clue who they were. But I'm telling you, some of the girls that were dressed up in them, they were looking nice. But dude, I was just amazed on the commitment level that they were on, bro. Yeah. And the cool thing, they sold comic books. They had old school comic books, Iron Man. So back in my days, I used to collect comic books. I had like the Spawn. You remember Spawn? That dude that died and came back to life, whatever. So I had my Spawn comics. They got taken. They're gone. So I went to one of these stands that had the Spawn comics that I used to have. Dude, for one comic book, $700. For one Spawn comic book. I was just like, imagine if I would have kept all my Nintendo games, my Super Nintendo games and all that stuff that I could have brought to one of these conventions and be able to be like, hey, you want to buy any of this stuff? Imagine the amount of money they were willing to pay. Because a lot of them were doing trade, buy, or sell. So they were allowing people to bring in their stuff. Like if you had any comic books that you wanted to get rid of, any toys or whatever, like all the shit that we grew up out of, like, the G.I. Joes, and we're like, oh, this shit is garbage, this ain't nothing no more. Treasures. Those things were treasures if we would have kept them. It was just amazed me the price that they were putting on these comic books. Like shit we would just collect to read and everything else. Dude, $700. I saw one $1,400. One was $600, and I was just like, this can't. And dude, people are buying them. Yeah. People going in there buying the posters, the comic books, the props. They sold a lot of samurai swords, the Final Fantasy swords. Like they're selling all this stuff, and people are walking around with these fucking big ass swords. Samurais, like dude had 3 of them. He had 3 samurai swords, and I'm like, what are you gonna do with 3 samurai swords, really? But dude, they love it. Florida, that's like one of the biggest things. They do it every year. Every year they have this fucking it's MegaCon. I guess there's like a Comic-Con. There's little itty bitty cons around the United States and everything, but this one in Florida is like they say the biggest MegaCon. I was like, dude, it was crazy. It was a good time though. Because I grew up on that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it wasn't like I was just showing up and didn't know what any of it was. But man, just like I said, the commitment level on these people, I was amazed. Because I'm telling you, they were not calling you by your name. These dudes were calling you Destro, if that was your costume. They were calling you Megatron, if that was your costume. Like, these people were not calling you by your real name. And if you were leaving, it was like, all right, Megatron, we gotta go. And Megatron's like, all right, man, let's get out of here. I was like, what is happening right now? These guys can't be for real, bro. But I mean, I can't hate on them. That's a lot of people like that stuff. I can't hate on them for being like that. They just committed, man. Committed. Yeah. How was your week, man? What'd you do?
So 2 things for me. Took a drone test today. Okay. So did that. Did not pass. So we'll be back at it too. And it's one of those ones, man. Like it doesn't bother me, man. Being dyslexic, you're used to failing, so it's just like. Right.
So wait, with drone test, like you gotta fly it?
Yeah. So I got to
show them you can fly it.
You got to have a license, and if you want to start charging people money to actually do drones commercially, you got to have a license. So I took the course. Okay. Took a test today, didn't pass, and so I mean.
Wait, so the test was for you to get your drone license? Yeah. So you can actually operate the drone?
Yeah, commercially, so that way I can actually charge people money to do a drone and stuff like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I failed it, but all I started doing was like, it's kind of one of those ones like, okay, what did I miss? Okay, cool. We can get better. So I'm not
Yeah,
like,
get back at it. Yeah.
yeah, I wasn't bummed. And then two, today's actually, it's fucking 10 years from my boy passed away, man. So my boy
Oh man,
Trunks, died
sorry to hear
10
that.
years ago. Yeah. And we're in Okie and there's a motorcycle accident. So it's 10
Gotcha.
years today. So, it's that kind of, it's not, I don't know. It's one of the ones where it's just, I don't know. People have asked me about it. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know how you deal with everything going on, like,
Right.
but I think it's one of those ones where it's just, I don't know, man. Like, I'm not a really, what is it? I really don't talk about much stuff. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I keep it to
Right.
myself.
Right. Yeah.
Pretty sure it's not healthy, right? Like,
Right.
So how do you deal with that stuff? Like, I know that we've talked about it before where you're saying you're having some friends who committed suicide.
Yeah.
How do you deal with like that?
That I mean, it's hard because you always wish that there was more that you could do. I've always said that to myself, like, man, I wish I would have called more often. I wish I would have could clone myself to be with that person every day, But and things like that, it's like I just try to remember the good times. Just think about all the great memories me and that person had, the adventures we went on, any exciting stories. And sometimes I will call another friend that knew that person, and we would just reminisce. We'll just talk about
Yeah.
the good times we had with him. Like, it actually was an anniversary of one of my boys on August 6th, and he'd been passed for a couple of years now. But one of my homegirls that lives here, I called her up, and we shared pictures again. His Facebook page is still up there, so we got on it, just roam through the pictures, see how his family's doing, and we just try to think about the good times, man. Because if we start letting like the whys cloud our minds and everything else, we're just gonna be regretting a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I try not to regret that. Initially, when it happened, I was like, man, Israel, what the fuck? Why you couldn't do more? I sort of took blame for it, even though I'm not the one to blame. But I always told myself, man, like, why you couldn't do more for that person? Why you couldn't call that person more and everything else?
Yeah.
But now that the anniversaries come up and everything else, is I just share with her or a friend that knows that person.
Yeah.
Because dealing with it by yourself, man, you're too many thoughts and everything else is gonna come up. Plus, it felt good to share those memories again. You know what I'm saying? Like, God forbid if Nori passed away, and his anniversary come up, I'll be calling you to be like, hey, man, today is this, that, and we'll just share the good times and keep that person's memories alive. And for me, I feel that's more comforting to deal with that type of stuff. Just to be able to talk about it with somebody else who knew that person, because they also put their 2 cents on how great that person was. You know what I'm saying? So it feels good.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do?
Nothing, man. I'm just gonna. It's man. It's one of the ones I just internalize it, but it does one of the ones where because even though this is his anniversary death, this is not the only time I think about him, right? So it's like I use this like Memorial Day. I think about him anytime it comes up. Like I think about it often, so it's not like something I just deep bury down. But it's one of the ones where it's just I think that's why, like earlier when I was talking about, I love to work. I love to try different things because I have that reference of people dying that you're just like, I don't, man. I talked to him 2 hours before he went on his motorcycle ride. Like I was talking to him, and we had, like, if you see my Facebook, that's a picture like 2 days before he died. We're out clubbing, we're out having a great time.
Yeah, I think I saw that one.
Yeah, I've had it up for years. I don't ever change it. Like it's from 10 years ago. I don't ever change it because it's just that's how I am, right? Like so. But it's one of those ones where it's like I don't know what's gonna happen, so I'm gonna try to like burn that candle, whatever, what I'm saying. I'm just trying to be the best I can and live life, because I use that as a reference of like you honestly don't know, man. Like shit happens. I sent his dad a picture because we have friends that are still like remember him, and they sent me a picture and like, hey, can you let this dad know? And I just hit him up and was like, hey, I just want to let you know 10 years later, we still don't forget. Like there's a group of us, we still have not forgotten. And we all deal with it our own difference. I think we all deal with everything differently.
Right.
But
I think
I
think you're doing it right though. You want to celebrate. I mean, that's what for me. I feel like that's what the anniversary is for, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to continue the celebration of when that person was alive and his memories and what he left behind. Because apparently this friend really had an impact on you. That you still think about him 10 years later. You know what I'm saying? And you still talk to his dad 10 years later.
Yeah, I think it's one of the ones like I saw like a couple of days ago. I think his dad like shared a picture of his grandsons, which are his sons, and I was like, man, it's like it's been 10 years. It's crazy, right? So it's like reference of like, and I think a lot of things too is perspective, man. I think a lot of times, man, like we think of things and we just don't have enough perspective enough of different things to look at it. So like for me, my perspective is, and I think there's also like a negative side of me, is my perspective is always like kind of like this side, like a death where I don't really care about anything else. Like as long as it's not a danger to anyone's life, I kind of don't care because for me, that's my perspective is death, right? Like that, you know, you
Right.
see so much things. You go over to the desert, you go over to Iraq or Afghanistan. There's a whole different perspective of this world where you're just sitting there saying like, I'm sorry, man, like not having this, I just really don't care. I can't care, me personally.
Yeah.
And so like it doesn't, I'm not bummed out. I'm not going to go get a drink right now, which I stopped drinking actually, as a matter of fact.
Oh,
So
congrats, man. That's good.
well, like for me, like I've had a really issue with a lot with drinking in the past. So I think this is one way for me to sit there and say like, you know, like I was drinking, like I was drinking again for a while, but it was like on the weekends. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's not every day. And then I
Right.
started drinking like, it'd be a Wednesday at 2 o'clock and I'm drinking with some friends. And it was like, nope, like we cannot be doing that shit. So I just kind of
Right.
like, you know, like me personally, I'm not responsible enough to go out there and I don't trust myself, honestly, because I'm fucking stupid. You know, you and I go out, we're going to have a great fucking time. I'm going to lose control.
Right.
And then, you know, you start having a couple of 4 or 5 tequila shots. Now, back when we're deployed or something like that, we had fun in doing those ones. That was cool. But now it's like, I think there's
Yeah.
too much that loss of control. Not even, I don't know, control, but I think it's just like one of the ones where it's just like, there's just some people that just shouldn't do things. Like I should not be drinking liquor for sure. Goddamn, like, you know, I'll have no problem robbing somebody. And me and you are
Yeah.
drinking and you're like, hey, let's go rob that dude. Be like, yeah, that's a great idea right now. Like, let's go rob him and let's go probably break his foot. Like, it's just like, you know, that dark side comes out and it's like, you know, like maybe we just don't drink. Like, you know,
Yeah. I mean, you know yourself better than anyone. We know our, you know, each of us know ourselves better than anybody else, so, and
Yeah.
we should be able to know when our limit is, how much we can take in, how much we can not to do it anymore. Then I
Yeah.
think to me that's like one of the biggest problems. A lot of people don't know their level. You know, their tolerance is like after 2 drinks, they're acting a certain way, and even after you tell them. Like, dude, you were crazy. They're like, no, not me. I can handle my lick. No, man, you know. And now with the videos and the pictures, that makes it even worse because now it's like, look at you. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
this was you. But I mean, the good thing is that you know your level. You know what I'm saying? If you
Yeah.
feel like that you can't do that no more, then hey, ain't nothing wrong with it. You know what
No,
I'm saying? Like
and-
you don't need to be drinking to have fun. You know?
No. And it's also too like for me it's like it's like I'm very open with it. I don't mind saying like yeah I've had a drinking problem, that's why I don't drink. I love it because I fuck with people too, because the moment you say that, no one really knows what to say. They don't know what they're gonna say, like, you know, it's like fucking quitter. Like no one's like, you're a quitter. Like
Loser.
yeah, no one's it, like I love it because it messes with people because they don't know what to say. They're like, oh, you know, it's like it's almost like they're like they leave you alone. So I love it. Like, you know, I love doing it where I'm like, they're like, hey, you want to drink? Like, no, I'm good, man, I don't want to drink. And it's like if it's like some weird thing and you're like, nah, I just don't drink no more, I've had a problem before, they just like it gets quiet and like, oh shit.
Right. Because we feel like we overstep. Like, oh
Yeah.
shit, like what made you not want to drink no more? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because now you're making the other person think like, damn, what fucking made him stop? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, oh shit, I pressed the wrong button here.
Dude, I love doing it. So like if you see right here, like if you see this right here, so
Yeah.
I got vertigo from the burn pits, right, from Iraq. And so like I fucked up skin, and so I shaved my beard. And so like before someone could say something, I'm like, they were like trying to laugh at me, and I was like, hey, you want to feel bad? And they're like, well, I was like, oh, this is actually from Iraq, from the burn pits. I'm trying to fix my vertigo. And it's just like I love doing it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't give a flying fuck. I'm married. I don't have
Yeah, yeah.
any interest at all in any of that shit. I don't care if a woman finds me attractive. As long as my wife finds me attractive, I can give 2 fucks, right? Just don't care. But I love doing that because it's like saying a veteran that you have this issue and you got it from Iraq. Dude, nobody knows how to act to it. It's like they want to give you a salute real quick, and you're just like, dude, just,
Yeah.
I'm cool with it, man. I'm funny, like you cannot
is
be not in the
funny.
military and fucking laugh at yourself at these things,
Right.
but nobody knows that. So I love being before anyone can make a joke on me. I love making them uncomfortable because they just don't know what to do. I love that.
Awkward.
Yeah, I love messing with people, man. I have no problem telling them. You know, it's like you see somebody like a veteran, and they'll be talking about their leg. I love they do that to people because everyone doesn't know what to do. You're like, oh shit. You know, it's like there was this Marine dude, and he was talking about. I think he was like, "Yeah, I just cut it off. Like, I just couldn't deal with it no more." It was like, "What the fuck?" And he was like, "Nah, just playing with you." Like, it was like a joke, you know what I mean? But it's like,
Yeah.
but it's one of the ones where like I couldn't tell that joke about him. Be like, "Oh yeah, by the way, you know, I got mad at him, so I cut it off." And be like, "Dude, what is wrong with you?" And be like, you know, it's like
That's funny.
so.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Oh,
Those are
shit.
some weird things that I enjoy doing to people. I love messing with them to this day. Somehow,
They don't
some way,
have an
I will find a way.
understanding. That's why they can't really relate. That's what makes it even funnier.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just like, it's one of those jokes on the inside. Like, I was working for the Marines and there was a master sergeant. So he's an EA and he has like a little like thing on his head and the rest of him is bald. So he like leaves this on purpose. And so it always made me wonder, like, is he doing this as a joke? Because
Yeah.
no one can make fun of him. Like, cause he's so high up there that, I mean, of course, higher ups can make fun of him, but at that point, it's whatever, who cares? But if everyone else below you cannot say nothing to you in front of your face, they have to wait till you turn it back. I think that's hilarious. I always wonder, it's like, is that his joke? Because he had it as an official photo and
Yeah.
everything, man. It was like goofy.
He had the Homer Simpson hairstyle.
Dude's like, yeah, just a little bit of things right here, and the rest of it was bald. But it's like he shaved it bald too.
Yeah.
So it's almost like he was like trying to make people do it to fuck
That's
with him.
crazy.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. But that's some of the joys I find in life is like, how
That's
can you
funny.
mess with somebody? Like, how can you do that? Now, you do it to some people nowadays, and they're like a little offended.
Yeah.
I haven't really run into that. Have you?
No, not at all. Because I did get surgery when I was up in Turkey, and so when I get a fade, you can actually see the scar. So people who don't know will be like, "What happened?" I was like, "Oh, I was in Turkey fighting off the Turkish enemies and stuff like that." And they're like, "What?" I was like, "Nah, man, it was just a bad haircut. Something went wrong with the haircut." But yeah, like if they don't understand, they're just gonna be like, "For real?" I get that, "For real," and it's like, if I
Yeah.
keep going with it, then it'll be like this whole movie script. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then eventually, I'm like, "Nah, man, it's nothing big like that."
Yeah, that's how it is for the drinking with me, man. I can get pretty elaborate about it and just kind of go off. I'm just like, nah, I'm just fucking with you, man. Like, it's just, nah, it's so long ago. I mean, like, there is a reason why I don't drink. That is like legit true. I've gone legit crazy in my sense. But it's like, it's funny because like you're not there no more, right? Like once you've gone through the
Right,
pain, it's like I said, it's just kind of like, yeah, like what kind of joke? How
Yeah,
can you make
just-
people uncomfortable?
Yeah. Just look
'cause you know
back
they
at
wanna
it and
ask.
just to laugh at it, man.
Right. Because you know they want to ask. And
Yeah.
there's so much crazy shit out there today with TV where it's just like, it could be true. But, you know, like when I say the burn pits, I love saying the burn pits because people are like, holy shit. And I love them because they don't know what to ask next.
Right.
First, A, what is a burn pit? And then B, what did that mean I did in Iraq? And
Yeah.
I love to tell them next. Like, no, I didn't do that shit. No.
I'm like I'm covert, man. I'm
Yeah.
Black Ops. I can't tell you.
Because I've had people be there like, hey, are you this? I'm like, no, I'm not. They're like, hey, did you ever do special forces? Like, no. And they're like, of course you did. I'm like, no, I swear to God I did it. Like, no, they're like, no, that's what y'all have to say, right? I'm like, no, like legit, man. Like my job, like one of my jobs, you know, the Form 55 for the safety was like legit paper cuts. Like that is legit a concern we had was paper cuts. Like, you know, like not even close to being that guy.
That's
like,
funny, yeah.
you know, when people are like, have you ever seen those movies? Like I saw a Rambo movie and I was like, dude, did that ever happen to me? I wouldn't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to set up traps and set up a boob. Like,
Yeah, I used to tell people when I was deployed in Saudi Arabia, I told people, I was like, yo, if the enemy ever reached the command post, we lost. We lost the battle, dude. Because, like,
Yeah.
it shouldn't get there. Like, it shouldn't,
Yeah.
the command post should be the last place an enemy should arrive to. I was like, but if they got here, everybody, security forces is gone. Pretty much
Yeah.
everybody's gone. And we lost the battle, man. We lost.
well, shit. On that note, we'll go ahead and say we lost on that part. So we'll wrap it up today since that's it. But yeah,
No
so
more
this
technical
one,
difficulties. No more. The Wi-Fi is going to be working strong from here on out.
hopefully so, man. Like I said, when you're just sitting there, like, I don't know what I did. Should I do this? You're just like,
I'm sure I will hear the feedback from you after we're done recording this and everything
yeah.
else.
You're just that old man who's just like, I don't know what I'm doing. He starts yelling and screaming and shit.
I got a
It's like,
rotary phone. I still got a rotary phone.
do you really?
No, I don't.
Oh, so I was like,
That'd be
shit.
terrible.
That would be.
Damn.
No, it's not that. It's like it's like you learned your lesson from the comics book, so you're just gonna start keeping everything now. Like I just see you like going out and just keeping shit, and be like, next year I'll show you guys.
You see this tablet? I'm keeping it. 2040, 2045. This thing might be worth thousands and thousands of dollars, man. You don't know.
All right, man. Well, I'll see you next week.
All right, bro. Holla at you.
All right.